fast forward a month or so, 2 months, and I'm in my house having lost the All-Ireland hurling final.
Yeah.
Fed up with life, and knock on the door. It's Bill Darby, the Arsenal scout. And thought it was a bit, honestly, I was so certain I wasn't going to be a footballer. To see him come in and it's like, where has this come from? And he said, I want you to come to Arsenal. I watched you play. I went to the match in Tolka Park to see a player in the Ballymun team, but you stood out head and shoulders. I'm bringing you to Arsenal, not him. I'm going to bring you over for a 2-week trial. And I kind of said, listen, I've been to Fulham already, and my mother was there. Oh God, he's been through that. And he went, no, you didn't go as a striker. He said, I'm sending you over as a striker. Now, I hadn't played a competitive match since that game. I had been in Australia. I was hurling 4 nights a week then when I wasn't in Australia. I was playing a match. So I thought, it's a shot to nothing.
What are you thinking at this stage? Because you've been through the Fulham experience. You've been through giving up on the dream of being a soccer player. And all of a sudden, you get a chance to play as a striker. You score 2 goals and bang them.
And I'm at Arsenal on trial, yeah.
Does your focus be different when you go into that trial?
I think it was looking back now, and I didn't know it at the time, but I was going in with less expectations and no worries. Hey, listen, isn't it great to be here?
A freedom to play.
Freedom to play and the freedom to enjoy. Now, I also had a lucky break in that the young kids my age, who would be, in those days, they were called trainees, YTS trainees. There was about 12 to 15 every year coming in a batch, and then whichever worked their way up the pyramid, and whoever can make it out of that 15. Some years, like, as it turned out, in my year, about 6 or 7 of us all made it through. We were like a class of 92. I think our group had more caps than the class of 92. So, which is interesting, but we didn't have marketing to tell everybody about it in those days. But just, in terms of going over there and say, look, I'm going to enjoy this. This is a great chance to see my heroes, because I loved Arsenal, like, from the time of Stapleton, Brady and O'Leary. Stapleton and Brady had gone, but Dave O'Leary was still there. And there was a guy called Paul Gorman from Crumlin still there, and he was lovely to me. He was so nice to me when I came over, looked after me. He was working his way up the ladder. He was in the reserves. Dave was up in the first team. But anyway, to cut a long story short, all the kids who the YTSs, that was their week off, the week that I went on trial.
Okay.
So I had to train with the reserves. So I was straight in with the reserves, and I had 2 reserve games.
17 years of age, training with the Arsenal.
I wasn't even 17. I was 16, about to turn 17.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm training with the reserves, and it was good. The training went well. And then they put on a special game for me against a college. And the college team were useless. And sure, I looked really good. I think I scored a hat-trick.
Who's the manager of Arsenal at this stage?
Terry Neal. Terry Neal. From Bangor, County Down. Yeah, great man. And Terry, it was lovely at the start. Enjoy yourself. You hear you're a great lad, he gave me a lovely welcome. Dave was nice, but Paul Gorman was exceptional. And anyway, I played against his college team and scored, and that was great. And then I had to play an under-18 game for trialists. And even though their current batch were out, it was like a load of Arsenal trialists came together to play against Southall. And I ended up, it was my first time ever playing under floodlights. And I played with a kid up front, and we won 9-0. He got 6, I got 3. And he said to me, we're odds on for a contract. We're $1 million on. That's what he said. And I had no idea what he meant. I'd never heard $1 million on. And it was Paul Merson. And Paul was into the world of gambling even then. Yeah, and he went, we're $1 million on. We're certain he's to get contract. And that's the first time I thought, geez, there might be a contract here for me. And I trained another day or two. And it was my birthday actually while I was there. Now that I remember it now. And because it was my birthday, they let me train with the first team. And I trained with Charlie Nicholas, who was the pin-up poster boy at the time. Pat Jennings, hero. Dave O'Leary. Going back, Kenny Sansom. Graham Ricks, all these great players.
Whoa.
And I was there suddenly training with them on the last day. Really enjoyed it. I was kind of, going, this is a lovely way of them telling me I'm not going to be kept, but it's been great. And,
even at this stage, you're doubting.
I was full of self-doubt.
Okay.
Thinking, okay, just be nice to everybody. Wasn't it great of them to bring you over? Wonder what the second week was going to be like, because I was been there for 2 weeks. And I got called in to see the manager, and thought, okay, here we go. And the head of the youth programme was there, Steve Burtonshaw. And they said, they were quite funny about it. They said, when we saw you at the airport, we thought, oh no, what we got him here for? But no, you've done really well. We're going to give you a 3-year contract. And I was like, geez, I was there just for the experience. And I thought, oh my God.
A 2-week break from home.
So I got to go home now to the mother and tell her that I had to leave school, tell the Christian Brothers I was leaving school. I had no proof. I just came home and told everybody they want me. And Ireland were playing Holland in Dalymount Park a few days later. And they said, we're coming over for that. Terry Donhow, who was the number 2, and another man from the club, he said, we're looking at a player there that we may be signing, but we'll meet you beforehand, come and watch the game with us, and we'll introduce you to John Devine after the game. John had been at Arsenal.
Okay.
He'd kind of left at this stage. And anyway, it was nice. We went to the Skylon Hotel before the game and met the Arsenal guys, and they produced a contract for signing. And my mother was really worried, but it was it seemed the right thing to do anyway. And my mother just was apprehensive, but said, "Oh, it'll be great." And anyway, so I remember kind of having the confidence to say, "What player from Holland are you looking at?" He went, "Oh, he's a young lad. We've had good word about him. His name's Ruud Gullit." And Ruud Gullit was brilliant that night for the Dutch, but he ended up going somewhere else. So Arsenal didn't get Ruud Gullit that night. They got Niall Quinn, a hurler, who's just turning 17.